Hey, fifth grade, how you doing? Hope your last week went well. If you're watching this, this is for Monday, May 4th. Remember, may the 4th be with you. Yeah. All right. I knew you needed a laugh today. So,
Mr. Bauer, that sounds like an old man's joke. How old are you?
I'm 60.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. But may the 4th be with you. So it's May the 4th, it's Monday. So as you know from last week, we finished Module 1 from Unit 6. So this is really going to freak you out. We are doing all of Module 2 right now, today, because there's not that much in it. So when I'm done delivering this to you, you do any pages that some of them are, there's a game in there, you know, that kind of stuff. So we're not doing every page for Module 2. So at the end of this video, I'll show you the ones I want you to do. But we're doing Module 2, everything. And see, today's Monday. Wednesday, we'll start Module 3. Okay? So if you look up here, they are talking about in Module 2 of Unit 6, this polygon hierarchy, and also there's a quad hierarchy on your Home Connections page 121. You'll kind of get what I'm talking about in a minute. So this first one is a polygon hierarchy. So polygon is basically the title, but then if you look underneath, we can, because we know a polygon is straight line segments, no open, like it can't be the letter U all squared off. So we're talking about a closed polygon. And so the first layer is sides. So we got 3 sides, 4 sides, 5 sides, 6 sides, and it could probably keep going, right? So what I wanted to do, because this would all fill up, we're not going to do with this polygon part, we're not doing quads, pentagons, or hexagons. Let's just look at triangles for a second, okay? So we're talking about 3 sides, and then down here we're talking about sides, the length of sides, okay? So we've got equilateral, isosceles, scaling, and these are all triangles. Notice the arrows are going up, okay? And I forgot to put angles. The other way we can look at triangles is the angles themselves. So here, equilateral, when we make an equilateral, it's got acute angles. I didn't put that because the book didn't put it, but let's look at isosceles. Isosceles, you know, is 2 sides are the same, okay? So we got side length. Here's 3 sides equal, here's 2 sides equal, and then you could have, because of the angle, you could have an obtuse isosceles, or you could have an acute isosceles, or you can even have a right angle isosceles, which is a right isosceles, okay? So that, all this has to do with angles. And then over here also, we have a scaling. If you remember, no sides are equal. See, this is side length, no sides equal. So you could have a right angle scaling. So you could have 3 sides that aren't the same, but your triangle has a right angle in it. Or you can have an acute scaling where all the angles are acute. Or you can have an obtuse scaling where, you know what makes it obtuse? Angle. If one angle is obtuse, the whole triangle is obtuse, okay? So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about hierarchy, and the arrows are going up because not every polygon is a triangle. So you don't have the arrow coming down. Everything goes up. So we've got obtuse isosceles, acute isosceles, right isosceles. They're all isosceles. We have obtuse scaling, acute scaling, right scaling. They're all scaling. Then you take these 3, equilateral, isosceles, scaling, and they're all triangles. And all triangles are polygons. Okay? So the arrows go up, they don't go down. And you're going to get some questions like that later on, like especially about the quad hierarchy, okay? And remember, if you want to look at the quad hierarchy, Home Connections, page 121, you can look right at it, okay? So work your way up. It's kind of like when we would say the hierarchy is kind of like every square can be considered a rectangle, but a rectangle can't be a square. It's that kind of hierarchy we're talking about. So as you look at these, you'll get it, okay? So, student book 224, we're classifying triangles two ways, like we just did down here. First of all, the number one way is the size of their angles. Remember, if it's an obtuse, if it has an obtuse angle in it, it's obtuse. If it has a right angle in it, it's a right triangle. If it's all acute, it'll be called, like, for instance, an acute scaling or an acute isosceles. All the angles are less than 90 degrees. You can also classify it the length of their sides, okay? So I put two triangles here. This first one is just a scaling. You will see none of these sides are equal. That makes it a scaling. And it's got one obtuse angle. Obtuse scaling. That's its name, okay? Over here, you will see all the angles are acute. And this line in these two sides means that these two sides are exactly the same length. You don't have to measure them. Me, the teacher, is telling you this one and this one, because of these lines, are the same length. And I don't have a line through this one because it's not the same length. If this was equilateral, I could put a line through that and that would be all three sides equal. But this is an isosceles. All the angles are acute. It's an acute isosceles. That's how you classify triangles. Okay. Now, as you go through 225 and 226 in student book, they're just quadrilateral questions, just various questions about quads. And I don't think you'll have a problem with it. I looked at a few of them, and I don't think you'll need, like, specifically my help. I think you'll figure them out. Okay, when you get to 228, think hierarchy. Remember what I was just telling you about, a square can always, if you list what a rectangle's classifications are, a square fits a rectangle, but a rectangle doesn't fit a square, okay? So if you think hierarchy in that sense, remember, we did the polygon hierarchy. You have a quad hierarchy on Home Connections 121. Take a look at them. Just look at them, get familiar with them, and it's really not a big deal, I promise, okay? 229, you're just drawing quads. They say if this quad has this, it's got four sides, but if it's got one set of parallel sides, but the sides are not all equal, what would it look like? So you're just drawing quads, okay? Page 230, which is the end of Module 2, student book, page 230, is questions about parallelograms, okay? So, and I looked at that, and it's basically a review from last year. I don't think 5th grade you'll have any trouble, okay? So, to take a final look, these are your student book pages and Home Connections, and there's not that many. Today's a Monday, so you should have them done by Wednesday, okay? And then, because this is all Module 2, on Wednesday we're starting Module 3, okay? So remember, if you get caught in something and your parents aren't around to help you, just email me and I'll do what I can, okay? So from Studio B, this is newly 60-year-old Mr. B signing off.